Well, first of all, we want to get Comey for anything. So Ken Delaney, who's this guy who's speaking, he doesn't speak for MAGA. He doesn't know MAGA. We want to get Comey for anything because Comey tried to uh, stop President Trump from being president by engaging in election interference by pushing the bogus Russia hoax. That's what he did. And he was a part of the problem in that way. And so we would like to see him held accountable for that. But sometimes you get Al Capone for tax evasion. So we don't care what we get him for. Comey's a bad guy. He was a huge part of the lawfare conspiracy. We know this. And so it'd be nice for there to be some sort of accountability for it. And so it'd be great if he was in jail. That'd be great. That's how we feel. And we don't really care how he got there. And the suggestion that Durham just clears everyone, I mean, I got to say, this one aged so well for me, and it kind of broke my heart because a lot of my people who I love on the right were so bullish on Durham. I always thought the Durham report was not going to get us what we wanted. And there's a new sheriff in town. His name is Donald Trump, and he has clearly put pressure on Bondi to get him some W's. And he's going to be looking at the people who he thinks he can get the low-hanging fruit. And Comey is probably the lowest hanging fruit of guys that you can get. We probably get a conviction. So from all of what we've heard him say, this came up, the sort of same premise is what's he really getting him for anyway on Jake Tapper's show with Maggie Haberman. Let's see what's going on over on CNN.
And just to be clear here, President Trump wanting a prosecution of James Comey, does it matter what the charge is, or he just wants his political enemies charged with something?
Well, I think to prosecutors it matters. I mean, I don't think that the president is necessarily the closest observer of the criminal law, but I do think that for prosecutors, they realize there has to be a case that they can argue.
Yeah, sure, fine. But yes, we do want to get him for anything. Yes, we do. Because we've seen the body of evidence is that James Comey is an election interference guy. He's someone who pushed the Russia collusion hoax, which nullified Trump's first presidency in a lot of ways. He called for Trump to be jailed. I just played the clip. So of course we want to go after him for anything. We don't need to be shy about this anymore. And we don't need to be afraid of it's just retributive. It's not just retributive. Here's why. Because if we don't hold people like Comey accountable, if we don't get him when we can, we just let him this is like letting a criminal back on the street who's a violent criminal. He's just going to commit more crimes. He's just going to go do the same stuff. If we don't lock up some of these people who try to subvert our democracy, as James Comey did, then they're all just going to run around, try to subvert it again. So we need to put some people on notice that if you guys don't chill out, some of you are going to wind up in jail. That's the whole point.